Hello everyone, I'm Striker and today we're taking a look at the Final Stand DLC, supposedly the last DLC for Battlefield 4. What are my first impressions of this DLC? Well, when I jumped in them for the first time, I was more than impressed. To be honest, I think this is graphically the best looking DLC so far. I didn't expect to be so overwhelmed by the giant snow maps, but I was, and especially Operation Whiteout. That's definitely my favorite map, graphics wise. We finally have a storm that isn't annoying, in my opinion at least. Every 5 minutes or so, the snowstorm picks up, and unlike the storms on Paracel Storm or Gulf of Oman, this one really makes you feel like you're in a blizzard, somewhere in the deserted plains of Russia. The immersion on this map is the biggest immersion I've seen on any Battlefield map and maybe even in a game. But are the graphics enough to make a good DLC? No, of course not. So how's the gameplay? Well, if you like close encounter combat and big massive battles, this probably won't be your DLC. However, all of the maps have at least one, sometimes two capture points that are indoors, which will give you some good infantry combat. But once your team owns these points, you are forced to go out in the wide open areas. So get out your sniper rifles. But don't forget the engineer, because there are loads of vehicles that need to be taken care of. The one thing you have to keep in mind when playing on Final Stand is to adapt. For example, Hangar 21. If you are in the hangar, the assault class is a safe bet. But once you step out of it, you have to go for either a DMR or a sniper rifle. Of course, nothing is set in stone, but you have to be able to adapt to the situation. Final Stand is a DLC for all around Battlefield. So is the Final Stand DLC perfect? No, of course not, but it's very good. The point I like the least at the moment is the fact that on Conquest Large, on 3 out of the 4 maps, there are only 6 flags. Now you might think, why is that a problem? Well, 6 flags means that there can be a stalemate. Each team having 3 flags, which means no ticket bleed on the other team, since there is only a ticket bleed when one team owns more flags as the other. It might be a small gripe, but this results in some lengthy matches where you wouldn't expect it. Alongside the DLC, an update was launched. After this update, I knew I would have a new favorite sight for my weapons. And I was right. The red dot sights got more vibrant, so that they stand out more against bright backgrounds. So basically snow. This makes the Coyote way more usable. Before this update you could so easily lose the red dot in the heat of battle. But that's all in the past now. The other important change is the update in the big medic bag. It no longer heals you when you are suppressed. When you are fully suppressed, it wears off after 5 seconds out of combat. So it means you can only be healed after 5 seconds. The little medbag still heals you when you are suppressed, but you can't pick it up while suppressed. And of course it stops healing you when you get shot. This update might change the pace of the game quite drastically. No longer can you turn a corner after a firefight and get healed immediately. Especially in the smaller confined maps, this will change the game. For example, Operation Locker and Metro. Now what about the hover tank? It's certainly an interesting vehicle. Damage-wise, it's the same as a normal tank. The catch is in its movement. The main cannon is fixed on its body. The front of your tank is the way you are shooting, and the way you'll always be looking. It certainly takes some getting used to, but it's very agile since it can side-strafe, which allows you to dodge RPGs way easier. I bet that when you master it, it's gonna be even more powerful than a normal tank. The launch pods are very fun and useful to get from one side of the map to the other, and you need that because the maps are really big sometimes. Then there is the Rorsch X1, or the alien gun as some call it. When you push the fire button, it takes a few seconds to charge and then fire a bullet. But the bullet lands almost immediately. So you don't have to lead your target except during the time it takes to charge the gun. Which probably makes it a better gun on PC than on console, because tracking a target for some seconds consistently is harder on console with the joystick. It's not that effective against tanks, but very effective against helicopters. Now the last thing I want to talk about today is the Phantom program. What do we know so far? We know what the last assignment will entail. It will require 100 kills with the bow and 50 headshots. We do not know what the reward will be when once completed, but my guess is a new futuristic looking dog tags. Though some people believe that these dog tags are the key to unlocking the bow, because we don't have access to the bow yet. Now you may wonder, how do we get access to the bow? Well, as of now, no one knows. Some Easter eggs have already been found. The most important one, a secret room on hangar 21. In the back of the hangar there is an elevator with no power. Someone has found a room beneath this elevator using a free camera on an unranked server. This room contains a floating bow. So all we need to do as a community is find a way to power the elevator. But that's not all. Once the elevator takes you down, there is a force field blocking your way. There's a keypad next to this force field, which leads us to believe that the code will disable the force field and will grant us access to the bow and so to the assignment. And this would make sense since where you normally enter the password to unlock the previous Phantom assignment, it now says physical restriction in place, so that would be the force field. So that's where we stand at the moment. But there are some other interesting things in the room that contain the bow. For example, in the back of it there are several servers which, when looking at them from above, spells DICE CTE. Now is this another hint, or is it just put there as an Easter egg? Then there is one more interesting thing in there, namely another keypad behind the bow. At the moment it's unclear what this keypad would unlock, even if it has the same code as the keypad to disable the force field. But maybe it's just a way out of the room. I said in the beginning of this video that Final Stand is the supposedly last DLC. But I still don't believe it's the last one. And the rumors are still alive as well. So maybe that keypad unlocks another room with a hint of some future project. Maybe it's a secret DLC, or maybe it's a sneak peek at Battlefield 5. Only time will tell. And we know from a recent post of a DICE developer that DICE won't be helping us, so we have to figure it out on our own. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a comment or like it, and if you are curious about what is to come, subscribe to this channel. I'll see you in the next one.